All right, so let's talk about in 2025, is it still worth it to drive Uber? And the answer is going to be a little different. Stick around. My name is Chris, and welcome to the RideShare Guy. Now, I already did a video talking about is it worth it to drive Uber and Lyft in 2025? So if you haven't checked that out, I'll put it right up here. You can check it out right after this episode. But we're talking about Uber and what's going on with Uber. Is it still worth it to drive Uber in 2025? Well, first off, did you know that there's 7 million drivers currently right now worldwide driving Uber? Yes, that's right. Just a few years ago, it was only about 2 million drivers. And before that, it was much less. So as you can see, Uber driving is very prevalent across the world. And that means your slice of pie has shrunk to 7 million other drivers out on the road. But with that being said, the supply of riders has gone up substantially as well too, because Uber just had their 1 million concurrent rides out there, which is meaning if you paused it at this second, there's 1 million rides going on around the world, which is absolutely insane. So I got to say congrats to them, because that's a hell of a marketplace that they created over the last decade or so. So congrats to them. But this isn't about Uber. This isn't about Lyft. This is about you, and if it's worth it for you to still drive for Uber and, well, Uber, not Lyft. We talked about that in the other episode. But if it's still worth it for you to drive Uber in 2025. And the answer is yes, it is. But there are some differences. And I'm going to talk about Uber, why it is profitable for you to drive. First off, you need to know your costs, because if you don't know your costs and you're accepting rides, just everything you're accepting, you're going to lose out on money, because they're going to offer you rides that aren't profitable, aren't worth it, and you should not be taking. So with that being said, you need to know your costs to your specific vehicle and how much it's going to run. And don't tell me it's 70 cents to run, because that's the IRS standard mileage deduction, which PS, you should be tracking if you aren't already. So make sure you're tracking those miles. You can use apps like Solo. They're going to track your miles. They're going to give you a lot more information. Link's going to be in the description. You can download that app and check it out. But with that being said, yes, you need to know what you're driving. You need to know your costs associated as your specific car. So you need to figure out your maintenance, your tires, your gas or electric, whatever it might be, in order to know what your true cost per mile is. And then that way, when you get a ride offer, if it's too low, pass on it. Don't take it. Say it and deny, let it run out. Doesn't matter. But when a ride that comes in that's acceptable, take that ride, make that money, and you'll be good. Now, what's really unique about the Uber app is it's not just rideshare. They have a lot of other things that you can make money as well, like shopping, Uber Connect, like delivery. So there's a lot of different things that you could potentially use to make more money when it's quiet. When it comes to rideshare, maybe it's a slow time because of whatever reason is going on in your particular area. You need to know your city, you need to know your market, you need to understand the trends, and you need to understand the seasonality when it comes to driving Uber. So that's kind of nice to have an all-in-one package on the app, because it has so many different avenues to make money, whether you want to take that or not. Again, know your costs, and if they offer you a lower than expected value or a non-profitable ride, or delivery or anything, don't take it. Do what you need to do in order to make that money, because the next ride that comes in could be more profitable. And not only that, if you're on both platforms, you can always turn on both platforms and see, or multiple platforms. So if you want to do food delivery as well, you can. But when it comes to Uber and rideshare, that's a different beast as well too, because they have a much bigger marketplace than Lyft does. Because like I said, they have 1 million concurrent rides going on that they just celebrated. Whether they're keeping it at that level or not, that's still quite a huge level. And at least in my market and several other people that I know across the country, they always say it's usually about 4 or 5 Uber rides to 1 Lyft ride. So it's a lot busier. It's a lot more prevalent. Now, I'll also give you a little insight. When it came to me doing a couple of tests with some drivers in Chicago, when it came to Uber was pinging like crazy. You just kept getting those rides coming in. You just kept getting everything. So you could be a lot busier on Uber versus Lyft, which we had it on. We were waiting around for a little while when it came to how many rides were coming in. So yes, it's a lot busier on Uber, and you can plan and position yourself a lot easier when it comes to Uber, because it is a lot busier. It's kind of like Kleenex. Facial tissue is everything. A facial tissue is no matter what, but we all call it Kleenex, just like we all call it Uber. So that's the default app for most people, and that's why it is usually busier. Not always, but sometimes. Now, if you're just getting started and you have more questions, put them in the comments below and we'll try to see them. Also, make sure you're joining us on Show Me the Money Club live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, because we will be doing everything live. And if you have some questions, we usually save that for the end of the show. Not only that, if you want to make sure that you know the most about the rideshare industry and the updates and everything, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we always have new videos coming out, new content coming out with updates, changes, all of that good stuff to make you informed and that you can maximize your earnings when out on the road. So you can make more money in less time and hopefully make a lot more money than somebody who is not watching the RideShare Guy. All right, everybody, drive safe. We'll see you next time.